Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Wow!
We are so back, baby. By that I mean I am so back.
They don't call you the songbird of your generation for nothing.
It's true.
That's a melody
You've
we
heard me at
desperately
karaoke.
missed on the last episode. Yeah, seriously. Africa by Toto has never been sang in a more melodic tone than the way that you can hit those notes.
Oh, yeah.
So, welcome in, everybody, to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast, with your hosts, Jake, Arturs, and Kevin.
Woo! I'm Kevin, if that was not clear.
Yes, and I'm Jake, if that wasn't clear.
Am I Arturs Shilovs now?
Your name has been Arturs this entire time.
Oh my god, I had no idea. What did I miss?
I mean, last episode we recommended 3 goalies for quantity starts, and it was Arturs, Kevin, and Jake. So we were like, oh, Kevin and Jake and Arturs.
It's like one of you is gonna have to change your name. It's you or Arturs.
Oh my god!
And I don't currently have Arturs' phone number, so
that's actually amazing. I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize it either until we started saying the names, and we were like, wait, I'm also Kevin, and he's also Jake.
And I'm also Arturs, so
exactly. It worked out perfectly for everybody involved.
What are the odds?
Seriously. Okay, everyone. Today we are doing our Week 8 bullshit, which is buy low, sell high episode. Which,
also
don't worry,
that's
bullshit. Yeah, I don't think that one's gonna stay. So,
it rolls off the tongue so well.
This is gonna be big. I'm gonna get roasted big time, but I'm ready, and I'm. This is a hill.
Are you ready?
I'm willing. Yeah, this is a hill I'm willing to fight for, which is a thing people say.
Yeah.
Someone actually said that to me in casual conversation the other day. And if he's listening, shout out, you know who you are.
I'm just picturing like you standing in front of like this hill with like your fists out, being like, "I'm ready. Someone come for this hill. I got this." Yeah.
It's like,
I'm on this hill. I'm gonna
it's
fight
super Braveheart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay, before we dive in, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there, and we are there to stay. Oomph.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. And please subscribe on YouTube. We truly appreciate the support. It helps us, which helps us help you, which is the thing that we still say. And please follow the subscribe. It really, really does help. It's been around even longer than Follow That Money, believe it or not. So
wow, that's crazy. And I've been saying that since the day I was born. So
seriously, those were his first words on
prehistoric numbers.
Exactly. Exactly. And all the links to our socials are in the link tree in the podcast description. The link to the Discord is there as well. Come join the community. It's a great time. It's awesome. Come join.
It's poppin'. If we have time for a small lollygag, Jakey, I've got some actual devastating news. It turns out that I watched the wrong Miracle on Ice movie. The one I watched was from like 1980, and it was in like I didn't realize there was a Disney one from like 2004. So
it was a great movie.
Yeah, it was like a 2-hour and like something like documentary. And I was like, you know what, Jakey said to watch it. It was pretty informative, and like I only realized recently when I saw someone on Reddit like mention like, yeah, Miracle's the best movie ever. Like the Disney did a great job in 2004, and I'm like, wait, what? So
thank God they said Disney did a great job in 2004, or else you would have started arguing with this guy in the comments, being like, it was not that good.
Now I have to watch another Miracle movie, and yeah, so sorry about that, Jakey.
This is a huge deal. This is a huge deal. Not only because I'm personally devastated, but after Josh watched what I thought was Miracle on Ice,
I thought it was
we
great.
had a thing where I was like, you know what? Good on you, Josh. Thanks for being awesome. You have the first trading dibs with me. Lo and behold, we just got a trade done, okay? He sends me Kucherov and anyway, I don't want to spoil it because it's going to be like later in the episode, but essentially the crux of it was I got Cooch, he got Draisaitl, more on that later. But The whole premise of that was that you saw Miracle on Ice. So I was like, you know what? So cool. Really. Thanks, man. I appreciate it because I've been begging you guys to watch it forever. And it was the wrong one. And then he waits until after trading with me.
I just found out. And I will say.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. How convenient that as soon as the trade gets processed, do you find out that you watched the wrong Miracle on Ice? Reverse the trade.
I will say,
now.
I will say it's even more impressive, the one that I watched, okay? Because yours was probably actually like a sick movie, and I'm going to watch it, okay? And an actual reasonable length.
Better.
Okay? The one I watched was like 2.5 hours. I can't even remember if it was black and white or not. And like, it was like, honestly, now, okay, I'm trading you now. I'm going to watch the actual Miracle. You have to watch this one, okay? Because I need you to see what I went through, and you'll appreciate even more that what I did for you, okay?
Deal. Fine.
So let's
dive
get into
our 2 weeks ago update now. But oh my God, what a thing!
Yeah. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty excited about mine, and actually all of them are great. So this is hype because it's just proving how smart we are. So 2 weeks ago, I recommended Seth Jones as a buy low. Since then, he's played 6 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points, 5 power play points. Florida's waking up. More on that in about 2 minutes. But yeah, Seth Jones was a clear buy low. And the thing is, when I had said the buy low, it was like you can buy him for pennies, right? I don't expect him to keep getting 5 power play points every 6 games, but he is really popping off. The back cats are also there. Other than his last game, which was straight zeros, even with that, his last 2 weeks average is unreal. So yes, I'm very happy with that, and I hope people bought low on him because the chance may have dried up at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, he was a borderline drop before, and now I think he's a guy that you want on your team.
Yeah, exactly. Going on to another interesting one, and I don't want to keep saying every time that we choose a buy low and they don't pop off immediately that like they're still a buy low, we're not wrong. Yeah. But this is still a buy low, we're not wrong, okay? So we have Nico Hischier of the New Jersey Devils. Since we recommended him, 6 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. He did have some solid backcat games in terms of shots and hits, and I just think that the Hughes injury is going to make him improve to where we think he should be even faster than originally expected. But I don't expect him to become worse once Hughes comes back. Or like maybe not as good, but like he's still going to be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
He gets to play with Jesper Bratt, which is now, a big deal.
JD, ITVP, ITNHL.
Exactly. If you're part of the Bratt pack, you know what you know what that means.
Kevin, you have to learn the acronym now that you have Bratt on your team.
We'll see. Honestly, I'm committed to the bid, so maybe I will. But yeah, Hischier's got 2 points in his last 4 games, 6 games since we recommended him. He's been shooting a lot more. Like his last 4 games, he shot 2, 3, 4, 3, double-digit face-off wins. He's hitting and he's blocking. Like this is still the type of player that I really want on my team. He hasn't got to the level that we're talking about. We're talking about a buy low, so he's still a buy low. I think better days are soon ahead.
Yeah, I've been sending nonstop Hischier offers. But
I know the
Hischier owner wants like value for him as if he's playing well, and I'm like, it's not a buy low if I'm paying for the full price, So yeah, but no, that's still a great one. And then this one's probably the best one we had of this 2 weeks ago update. Sam Reinhart. Since we recommended him, 6 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points, power play points, shorties, shots, hits, face-off wins. Yeah. He does it all. That's why he was a second-round pick. And if you're named Kevin and you traded for him right before the pop-off, then you are extremely happy, and everyone should have done it because we recommended it.
Yeah. I listened to this episode, and I was just like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm going to try to buy low on Sam Reinhart. Yeah. And then I did. And then he popped off. And now I'm happy.
I fully do that. I fully I'll be like, I'm always sending trades. But then after a while, I'll be like, okay, maybe I haven't thought of someone, whatever. And then I'll like be listening to one of our our bullshit episodes. And I'll be like, oh my God, yeah, this is such a good point that we made.
We should follow through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I was really, really happy with this one. And you're really just reaping the rewards right now if you have him.
Yeah.
So he's honestly like the Florida team was just underperforming like crazy offensively, and now they picked it up. He's the best offensive player on this team, even with Tkachuk and Barkov there. He's like at least he's in that category. So they're just gonna have another catalyst for being better when Tkachuk's back. I love it. Keep riding the wave because the buy low window is closed.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
but if you capitalize, congrats.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the sell highs. Again, I think we sniped 3 for 3 on this one. Dawson Mercer, 6 games played, 1 goal, 0 assists, 1 point, The inevitable drop-off has happened. If you got any value for him, I'm very happy that you listened. And if not, he's honestly like, if he keeps this up, he's nearing drop territory.
Mm-hmm. The deployment is still like you're still okay. The deployment's not terrible, but he was producing at such a high rate, and people were excited about the Dawson Mercer name, and that's why we recommended to sell him. If you did and you got like a stud that's gonna be on your roster for the rest of the season, you're making out like a bandit right now.
Then we had, for goalies, Logan Thompson. Since then, 5 games, 2 wins, 3 goals against average, .892 save percentage. I don't know if all our viewers remember, but 2 weeks ago, I don't think he had a single game where he let in more than 2 goals.
Nope.
He was just killing it, and this is another amazing sell high if he pulled it off.
2 weeks ago, his goalie stats were 1.45 goals against average, .938 save percentage, and he had won, I think, 5 out of his 6 games. So it was the glaring numbers that, Washington is not going to be doing this well. And the fact that he also has a name pull, like hopefully you were able to tier up and maybe get like a Ottinger, a Vasilevsky at the time, maybe a Shesterkin. Like those are the names that we set to target. If you were able to make any of those deals happen, like you're thrilled right now.
Yeah, honestly, you know what I'd love is if in our YouTube comments for our bullshit episodes, if people can mention, if they pulled off some of our recommendations and they could send their chats in the comments, I would love to see what people managed to pull off. And
I would love to see that as well. So if you're listening to this and you pulled off an amazing trade after listening to one of our episodes, even without listening to one of our episodes, let us know in the comments below what you were able to pull off. Honestly, it gives inspiration to others to do the same, and also it's just like really fun to gloat about a good trade you pulled off.
Exactly.
Yeah. YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, anywhere, give us the comment, and that'd be really cool to see.
Exactly. And then our last one from the 2 weeks ago update, we had Leo Carlsson. Since then, 8 games, 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points, which looks great, but only 2 points in his last 5 games played. So he we recommended the sell high. He kept popping off for a game or two, but then the cliff has come, and he's been demoted to line 2. I don't think that's going to stick, but the fact that it's even a question is, a reason why he should have been a sell high. He was ranked top 3 in probably most leagues. So if you were able to shoot for the stars with him like we recommended, then I think it's really paying off for you.
Yeah, I think the window to sell him is still there too.
For sure.
My recommendations on that one were Braden Point, JT Miller, Sam Reinhart, and Hellebuck. Hellebuck's hurt right now, so that doesn't really count. I mean,
I'd still do it.
Really?
Yeah, it's only 4 to 6 weeks. I don't think that's the end of the world.
Okay, fair. But Braden Point, JT Miller, Sam Reinhart, like, even though Braden Point has not been there yet.
You're getting point plus. You're getting point plus if you're doing that.
Yeah, which if you do that now, even with the recent slowness of Leo Carlsson. So I'm still there, and like, yeah, I mean, you should still aim for guys of this caliber. Reinhardt, the window's done, but both JT and Point, if you could pull that off, amazing.
You could do Reinhardt, I think, in a 1-for-1. Like, I'm sure some leagues that will happen. Like, he's been popping off, but Leo Carlsson, if you open the game log, the success is still there. So the window to sell him at this level is still there. Like we said, some guys stay buy low even after the episodes. He's still a sell high after the episode, but the window's closing.
Yeah. But enough about the past. Let's get into the present with our buy lows for this week. So my buy low for this week is Jake Sanderson of the Ottawa Senators. Sanderson is averaging 0.7 points per game, 0.3 power play points, 2.3 shots, 1.8 blocks on the season, which is pretty much exactly in line with what we expected from him. It's almost identical to last year with a tiny dip, but for the most part, exactly what we're hoping. But over the past 2 weeks, he's averaged 0.37 points per game, 0 power play points, 2 shots and 2 blocks. All his stats seem normal other than the 0 power play points, which has a huge impact on his overall points.
Mm-hmm.
Ottawa as a whole has scored 2 on 26 power plays over the past 10 games. Compare that to 13 on 37 the 10 previous games. This power play should be one of the best in the league, and the imminent return of Tkachuk should be a huge catalyst to help it go back to what it was. Most Sens are buy lows because of this power play drought, honestly, but Sanderson is the one who got hit the hardest because he gets most of his points from the power play. Now's a great time to buy because they should turn it around within a week or two. And here are my targets. I think you can get Sanderson plus for Mo Seider, Miro Heiskanen, Mikhail Sergachev, Seth Jones, Jacob Chikrin. I think if you could, you might have to add a little plus to some of these guys, but some of these I think you could do straight 1-for-1.
Yeah, I think Heiskanen for Sanderson gets done straight 1-for-1. You could probably get Sanderson plus for Heiskanen what he's doing right now. I think same with Seider. I love the Sergachev trade because you're also giving away a bad playoff schedule and getting a really good playoff schedule in return. I think Seth Jones recently is popped off, so you can get a great deal done there as well. And Jacob Chikrin slowly that has been like, building up his value again. If you're able to capitalize on that and get a Jake Sanderson in a 1-for-1 trade, I think that would be amazing. I just traded away Sanderson. I'm really sad I had to, but I got back Bratt and Reinhardt. So listen, it wasn't I think it wasn't a 1-for-2, but there was other pieces, but Sanderson was definitely the best player that I gave. And if I hadn't just traded with the guy, I would try to buy him again. So I really love this. I'm high on Ottawa, as you most of you have known if you listened to me earlier in the season, where I had like 4/5 of their power play on my team.
Now you're down to 3/5.
Yeah, now I'm down to 3/5 with Sanderson gone, which is sad. But I think the looming return of Tkachuk, like you said, is a great point. That it's just gonna raise the tide on all players on this team. They're going through a slump, but I think it's around the corner is the bright side.
Yeah, this is my favorite choice this week, to be completely honest. And you got it before I did. That's what happened. I think I think there's a certain offensive caliber that Jake Sanderson can hit, which is in the elite company. It's like in the realm of talking about, in 2 years from now, let's say Quinn Hughes and Makar, and like Makar kind of happened overnight, but Quinn Hughes, it took a little while. Sanderson's really young, and this is the year I think he's going to actually have like a breakout 65-point plus year. His pace is not that bad, but it's just as of late that it's really not been good. So it's because he's going through this right now that we're recommending him as a buy low, and I expect him, especially with Tkachuk coming back in the somewhat near future, to just go off. I really, really like it, and he's one of my favorite offensive defensemen. The only one, and I know you said you could, get Sanderson plus for Seider. Seider's probably the only one where I'm like, okay, I think I'd rather Seider on my team because of the peripheral categories, but by a country mile over Heiskanen, Sergachev, Jones, and Chikrin. Easy.
How many city miles is a country mile?
3.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, I have no idea. But if you say
if
something
anybody
with
knows, tell us in the comments. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, I really love it. It's a great buy low choice.
Thank you very much.
I think out of
Kevin,
all the
you're up.
defensemen, Sanderson and Hedman are like the glaring names to highlight to try to get on your team. But I will not be talking about defensemen. I will be talking about a guy I literally just mentioned who I stuck to my guns and I traded for him, and now I'm telling everybody else to trade for him too, because it is Jesper Bratt of the New Jersey Devils. I do not know the acronym yet, but thank you, Josh.
Gotcha.
So listen, Jesper Bratt is a stud. Whoever over the last month, he's averaging 0.54 points per game.
I should have been me.
Last season, he averaged 1.09 points per game. Literally, he's averaging half over the last month of what he did last year. Even if you think Bratt will be worse this year than he was last year, he still should be hovering over around a point per game at a minimum is what I believe. One of the main reasons for the negative form right now is the power play. It's been struggling. Last year, they had the third best power play, converting at a rate of 28.3%. And this year, they're 12th in the league at 22.6%. The power play is due to be significantly better. And we saw the Devils studs average 0.4 points per game last season. The elephant in the room is Jack Hughes' injury, and how does this impact Bratt? Yes, losing your partner in Jack hurts, but to be honest, we've seen Bratt have success even with Hughes out, and he still gets to play with Hischier. I think now he is the best forward on the team. He's going to become talismanic for this team. All the offense goes through him. They're stacking the lines right now to get the most out of all their best players, and he's playing over 20 minutes a night with Nico Hischier. All the important minutes he's going to be playing. Before this Jack Hughes injury, he was averaging 16 to 18 minutes a game. Now he's been playing over 20 minutes a game. So it just goes to show that he's important. They want him on the ice. And also, if you play, I wanted to add this. Like, I don't know if you guys saw his last shootout goal, but it was nasty. Like, no fantasy leagues have points for shootouts, but they should, because Bratt would be a monster at that. That would be cool, right? What's also encouraging with Bratt is his shots and his hits have been consistent all year. He'll get you a little over 2 shots. He'll get you a hit a game. All the metrics have been there. It's just the points have significantly regressed, and their power play has not been as good. New Jersey as a whole, they're extremely beaten up right now. I feel like they have injuries all up through the lineup. Goalie, defenseman, forwards, like everybody's hurt, feels like. But if you're looking for an elite player to buy, I think he's one of the glaring names. Like, For me, Reinhardt and Bratt were like the two wingers that were drafted in the second or third or fourth round in your leagues that's still high pedigree, that have over a point per game potential, that are not producing anywhere near close to it. We saw the bounce back happen with Reinhardt. I think the bounce back is about to happen with Bratt as well. Like, it might seem counterintuitive because Bratt is playing without Jack Hughes now. So you're like, how is he going to get better? But he's going to play more important minutes. He's the focal point of the offense now. They rely on him to score the goals, to get the goals going. And he's still playing with an exceptional center like Nico Hischier. So that's why we're saying Nico Hischier. I think better days are shortly ahead because he's playing with Bratt. Same goes the other way around. And also, I think one of the best trades that you can do is getting a better playoff schedule. So if you're holding on to like these guys that like from Utah or Nashville, and you're able to swap in those bad playoff schedules for Bratt, who has a 3-4-4, I think it's an exceptional move. And he's super attainable right now because his back categories are not exceptionally enough that people are like really valuing them. And his points have not been there. 0.5 points over the last month is nothing to talk about in high regards. So I think you can trade Malkin in a package for Bratt right now. I think Konechny can be done for Bratt right now. Lehkonen has been super hot. He could be traded for Bratt right now. Will Smith has basically been doing what we want Bratt to do. He's a glaring regression candidate. I think you can make a swap. And on the higher end, I think Gunter also can make it done. I'm not saying these are 1-for-1 guys that you trade for Bratt, but in a package, a 2-for-1, I think they can easily get done.
Yeah, I'm with you there for sure. The other important thing to look at is that his power play points have basically been half of last year. And the most glaring thing here is that in the past 2 years, Jack Hughes has missed 20 games in both seasons. 62 in 23-24 and 62 games played in 24-25. So with that, Jesper Bratt, over those 2 seasons, basically playing a full season, has gone 83 and 88 points respectively. That means that he has proven to be a decent player even without Jack Hughes. This is not the first time this has happened. And, you know, given the fact that Jack Hughes is probably going vegan and not playing with steak knives after this whole thing, I think that hopefully when he's back, he's healthy all season. And you know, they're a better team
playing with
him
Tate McRae. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see that.
Really?
Yeah,
Jack
there was
Hughes,
a picture.
yeah.
There's a picture of them at dinner
Okay.
together, and people weren't sure if they were on a date or if she was his designated food cutter for restaurants.
Honestly, he better have been at like a ramen restaurant where like no knives are seen. But anyways, all this to say, Jesper Bratt has proven to be a successful and a great player over the past few years. He's on pace for 74 points right now, and that's with like a huge slump as of late, as Kevin mentioned. So these things are going to turn up, and then he should be an 85 point plus guy. And at like very, very in the near future, is it going to happen that his pace is going to get better?
Yeah, fully agree. Nothing much to add from me other than I agree with this from top to bottom. Targets are great. You might have to package a 2-for-1 like Kevin said, but Genther I might even get done 1-for-1.
Yep.
And I'm just jealous that Kevin pulled the trigger in our league, because otherwise I'd be out there sending offers as we speak. But but Kevin's not going to give him up because he knows he's a huge.
I just bought him.
Yeah.
But I traded, just so everybody knows, I traded Jake Sanderson, Travis Konechny, Logan Cooley. And remember, this was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago after our previous buy low episode. So players were in different form than they are now. But I traded those 3 guys for Sam Reinhart, who at the time was averaging 0.5 points per game, which is crazy when you look at what he's been doing over the last week. Jesper Bratt and Vince Dunn. Vince Dunn was kind of there to mitigate the Jake Sanderson loss. But I think Bratt and Reinhardt are the 2 best players in that trade, and the fact that I was able to get them,
it was a huge fleece. Honestly, I was like so upset because
in the moment I was like, dang, are these guys gonna bounce back? And then I pulled the trigger, and then they bounce back immediately, and I'm just like, wow, okay, I'm happy I did that.
So just for everyone out there, sometimes the buy lows aren't gonna bounce back immediately like that, and it's still a good move, okay?
Yes.
But sometimes you get immediately rewarded, and that feels great as well.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I bought Bratt, and now I'm recommending others to buy him. So hopefully you guys take our advice, and you'll reap the rewards.
Yeah. All right, Jakey, hit us with your controversial buy low.
Nothing brings us together as friends like my buy low, sell high recommendation sometimes.
We're allowed to disagree. This is one of those that I think we disagree, but listen, the conversation is there.
Yeah, and I think Jakey's
me...
perspective is really important. Like, no shade, actually. Like, I think a lot of times Kevin and I are in agreement, and Jakey will be a bit more out there. But like we've seen time and again, where he's been right about things. So I think it's really nice having that other perspective.
Thanks, man. and I think that before diving into this, I got to give you all a good old preface about how this is really a deep league transaction. It's not like in an 8-team or 10-team league necessarily, but like when you're going to 12, 14 teams, I think
you told me 10-team league you'd rather have him on than most players.
You had to do that.
We'll see. Let him get into it, and then I'll roast him.
Me right now. Well, yeah, that was before I knew that you had Trocheck on your on your waivers, which is crazy.
You need to play in more
10-team
10-team leagues.
So if you have Trocheck on your waivers, you could pick him up over this guy. But nevertheless, okay. Everyone who listens knows that I'm resident size queen on the Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast.
It's true.
So it's no surprise that for my buy low this week, I am recommending of the Washington Capitals, standing at 6'6", 225 pounds, an absolute monster with incredible skating ability on the ice, Aliaksei
and off
Protas.
the ice.
Cool. First of all, Aliaksei, I don't know any other Aliaksei, so he's easily the best Aliaksei in the NHL. But second of all, fantasy, unfortunately, does not reward for how tall players are. But we're here for some cold, hard stats, and that's why I think that Protas is a great buy low. Firstly, the Metropolitan Division is extremely tight right now. It seems like just yesterday that the Capitals were in last place despite Logan Thompson being an absolute beast, but they've quickly jumped to 5th after putting up 2 insane victories over the Oilers and Canadiens. In that span, they scored 15 goals, which is wild in 2 games. And now they're also letting in a lot of goals, as we mentioned earlier, that Logan Thompson has not been performing in the same caliber that he was. Anyways, so now they're winning by outscoring in high-scoring games. They also won the game before that at the time of this recording, which is 2-1 against the Los Angeles Kings. And over that span, he actually has 3 points in his last 3 games. But the participation rate, which is essentially the player's points divided by the team's total goals, he has 3 points on 17 goals scored by the team, which is 17.6%, and that's really not anything to write home about. On the season, he's at 19%, which is also really not that great. But to give you an idea, last season, he averaged 0.87 points per game, 66 points in 77 games was his total, and he had the participation rate at 24.6, which is definitely substantially better than where it is this year. To give you an idea, he would be at 17 points over the 21 games as opposed to 13, which is, we'd be thinking about that a lot differently. And considering it was mainly just a late round pick in your leagues. Protas also ranks 2nd in time on ice per game for the Capitals, trailing only Tom Wilson for their forwards. And very sadly, that has nothing to do with any power play 1, which is basically kind of Hagel light vibes. Bottom line, this is a good player on a team that's already scoring much more than they were to start the season. And he's going to get the minutes and the opportunities. He's already proven to be a good player. And because he's under everyone's radar, I think you could get him for basically nothing. This is not a flashy name. And the best thing you could really do here, which is I think where you guys would maybe actually agree, even though you not necessarily with the player, but the concept of what you can do. The best thing, you can send him in a 2-for-2 or a 3-for-3. And you would basically be getting him back as like a side piece in the trade. But trust me, you can do worse than having Protas as your side piece. What? What? Okay, cool. Anyways, for the targets, I'm going to list. These are players who I think should be part of the trade you're sending for Protas. However, the best thing, really, just to hammer that home, is the package. And you can get a big upgrade at the higher end. For an example, it could be something like Protas and Horvat for Voronkov and Matthews. Right? That doesn't sound so crazy to me. That's just like a good 2-for-2. But the 1-for-1 targets I'm looking at are Jackson Blake, Evgeny Malkin, Steven Stamkos, which you could literally just pull off because of name value, and Jack Roslovic. What do y'all think?
You had me until the last sentence. You know what? I'm going to give you this one. I do think he's going to be better than he has been. So in that sense, he could be a buy low. Look, I'm not dying to get him on my team because for me personally, if someone's not power play 1 and they're not a banger, then I'm not the most interested. But would I rather have him than a guy I picked off on waivers who's like on a hot streak? 100%. So I actually like what you mentioned of having it in a 2-for-2, something like that. One big disagreement I have is I don't think there's any way in hell you're getting Voronkov and Matthews for Protas and Horvat. this coming as a Horvat owner who was killing it. I think Matthews is better than Horvat and Voronkov is better than Protas. So that example, I just think there's no chance it happens. But everything else I like. And then in terms of your targets, I like the Blake one, I like the Roslovic one, I like the Stamkos. I would take Protas over all three of those guys. Malkin, even though I'm very low on him, I think I still take him over Protas.
I meant to say you get Protas and Matthews for Horvat and Voronkov.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Yeah. Is that better? Do you see what I'm saying?
It's definitely better, and
It's not worse.
like the vibe makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
You get like because it's exactly what you were saying with what like your whole what you were saying about it is like
Yes,
you take Protas
that's-
as
sorry,
the
that's what I
downgrade
meant.
piece. You take him as the downgrade piece in a 2-for-2 where you upgrade at the other one, but in your head
Yeah.
you're like it's actually not that big of a downgrade because he should be doing better. In that
Yeah.
sense, I fully agree, and I think that makes a lot more sense. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
so yeah, no, I agree with everything you said, and I guess in terms of targets, it's just I think Malkin's better than Protas, but everything else, I think it's just maybe it's not that like I don't know about Kevin. I won't speak for Kevin. He'll say in a sec, but I think it's more just like that. It's a lower stakes buy low than we're used to, as opposed to not being a buy low.
Yeah. Yeah, see that's kind of where I'm at. Is that like when Protas is part of the Matthews side of it, who Matthews is also quite the buy low right now. He's just injured, so I didn't want to like add him this week. But Horvat and Voronkov, right? Like they're performing really, really well, and I think you're like Protas to Voronkov is not that difference, and Matthews should be way better than Horvat.
Yep.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, listen, I understand the concept. Jake, you won't be surprised with what I'm about to say because we talked about it at length before recording this episode. But I would say like disagree with a lot of this just because I don't think the ceiling is high for Protas. I think last season he got 0.87 points per game without any power play. I think that was a miracle, to be honest. Like we saw Washington just do like have a
Don't
season
bring
out
up
of
miracle again.
Yeah. I just think the ceiling is not high for him. Like I think this season he can get 0.7, 0.75 points per game. He'll get you 2 shots, not even a hit, not even a block, no power play. So why do I want a guy that has 0.7 points, 0.75 at the max, let's say, and no power play exposure, no bangers? I just think you can stream better production, to be honest. Like I'd rather have Palmieri, I'd rather have Eberle, I'd rather have like Jason Zucker. Like these are guys that are widely available in most leagues that I would take ahead of Protas just because the power play is a huge deal, and he's not getting on that PP1.
You'd rather him over Zucker?
Oh, we lost Kevin.
Kevin?
You mean he
Where'd
said
he
he would
go?
rather Zucker over Protas, and I get what he's saying. It's like it's the power play 1 exposure, but I also get what you're saying. In which case, like you make that 2-for-2, where in the other person's mind, Protas is way worse, whereas in your mind, he's only like maybe he's equal to one of these like lower name guys, and then you get to make an upgrade in the other sense. So I get where you're going with this, and I don't think it's the craziest thing either. I don't think he's going to repeat what he did last year. I think even you had mentioned like because I'd said I don't like guys who aren't power play 1 or bangers, and you mentioned what about Hagel, and I'm like even Hagel is not doing what he did last year, right? Like I still think that he's a great player, but like it's hard to sustain that kind of offense when you're not getting power play opportunity. So even like if you're an amazing player, I feel like your like ceiling is like 0.8 with that kind of deployment.
Yeah. So like last year,
yeah.
just as an example, Hagel was at like 1.1 points per game, which is great, and that's like no power play exposure. So I totally understand your perspective of kind of just being unable to hit near that ceiling. But let me ask you something. Who had more points per game last year, Cole Caulfield or Aliaksei Protas?
It's in law this is called the leading question because I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah,
and I know all my law from movies, so if that's wrong, don't roast me in the comments. No, but look, I'm not talking about Protas last year. It's just like you see these kind of things pop up with like the Hagel and Protas last year. It's maintaining it season over season, which is difficult. But I don't hate it. Like I said, like if you do it in that 2-for-2 and you're like, oh, I'll take Protas off your hands, but you have to give me an upgrade for it. And in your head, you're like, I'm actually feeling pretty good about both pieces in return. Then I like it.
Like and one other one that we were gonna mention, and Kevin's teleported away from us, but
yeah.
If he was
mad.
here, we were speaking about this off the podcast. From the day this episode drops, which is November 24th, who's going to get more points between November 24th and the end of the fantasy season, barring injury? Aliaksei Protas or Pavel Dorofeyev?
Oh, you got to go Dorofeyev.
All right. Well, I'm on the Protas side. Points, by the way. Like I still think like the shots are going to be better, the goals are going to be better, and I'd rather Dorofeyev on my team. but Kevin and I
You mean a beer bet?
suggested we do one beer bet, and he responded with 10 beers and $100. So I was like, okay, that's a lot.
Okay, let's do
But,
one beer bet.
Yes. Are you both taking the other side here?
I'm happy to jump in on this if you're willing to take double the beers.
I'm well, that means you guys have to drink 2 beers too. If
No, that's not how it works. You make the bet individually with each of us. So either we both drink one or you drink two.
No. Let's
You know what? Fine.
let's
I
do
don't care. I'll do 2 beers.
Yeah.
I think Dorofeyev's going to get more points. It's just that power play one I think is lethal. And
Yep.
yes, he is a bit of a one-trick pony in terms of goals versus assists, but it'll be interesting to see.
November 24th to the end of the season. I'm on the and we're not doing Kevin's $100 plus 10
No,
beers
no.
suggestion, so that's not happening. But it's 2 beers. Or 2 beers for Josh, 2 beers for Kevin if they lose. Now,
Yeah.
what happened is Kevin's computer kind of
His
died.
graphics card died.
Yeah, so that's why. Well, he'll be back probably next episode. Nevertheless, he phrased it as the fantasy gods wanted to spare me from him roasting me for my take. I think it's more the fantasy gods wanted to spare you, the listeners, from Kevin being anti-Protas. So I think that's really the best way to look at this.
Wouldn't that just be like antitis? Because you've got protis and then antitis.
That's so funny. It sounds like a brutal disease, though. Like y'all are antitis.
Yeah. I'm sorry, your fantasies team has been diagnosed with antitis.
Antitis. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
so we'll see which tis shows up for the rest of the season. But let's go on to our sell highs.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so brutal.
I know. Kevin just not
God.
here to defend himself,
Yeah.
which is great because the fantasy gods again sparing everyone. So my
Seriously.
sell high for this week is Yaroslav Askarov of the San Jose Sharks. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying he is still a sick goalie, and I would hold him all season. Okay, I don't think this is one of these he's going to drop off the face of the earth and you need to dump him now type of thing. This is just he's performing way too high, and you can tear up very significantly. Also, sorry, Kevin, in brackets, because he picked up Askarov and kind of his whole season rides on that because he went with no goalies. So, not to throw shade at Kevin, who can't defend himself, but that's where we're at. So, let's dive into this Askarov take. Askarov's on an insane tear the past month. His stats in starting November 1st are 7 games played, 6 wins, that's an 86% win percentage, 1.51 goals against average, 0.952 save percentage. To compare with just
crazy.
a random guy, last year Connor Hellebuck stats were 75% win percentage, 2 goals against average, 0.925 save percentage. Askarov is playing at such an unsustainable level, it's even better than Connor Hellebuck's insane season from last year. If you need a bigger sign that says this is not sustainable, even Connor Hellebuck will never do what Connor Hellebuck did last year. Okay, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So Yaroslav Askarov of the San Jose Sharks 2025-26 is not going to do better than Connor Hellebuck's last year season. Okay, now let me read you a list of names. Orlov, Liljegren, Klingberg, Ferraro, Dickinson, Desharnais. Does this sound like a decor that's going to help their goalie maintain these kind of stats? Or does this sound like a boing band you don't want to listen to? Okay, this is a list of names that I'm like, this is one of the decors of all time. You know, like this is literally probably one of the worst decors I've seen. It just does not make sense. Despite this hot streak, San Jose is still ranked 24th in the NHL. The fact is, Askarov is clearly going to be an amazing goalie for years to come, but San Jose is just not a good enough team for him to maintain anything close to these numbers. You probably picked him up as a free agent, to be honest. If you can flip him for an established starter on a solid team, I'd be very happy to do it. So I'm going to list you some names of guys who I think you could target. Honestly, shoot for the moon. I'm putting guys who I think are more reasonable, but if you can package him for any of the top tier goalies, you try and go for it. Sergei Bobrovsky, Connor Hellebuck in a package because of his injury. So no one's obviously going to do 1-for-1, but if you can do Askarov plus for Hellebuck, that is the ultimate trade. And
Yeah.
I didn't think it would have been possible when he was healthy, but maybe with the injury, it's possible. Still a stretch. I would take Scott Wedgwood plus for Askarov. I'm at this point. I think I'm on Kevin's Wedgwood train. It took a while, but I think
came
I'm
back
there.
just in time.
Yeah, exactly. Find some good news with my Askarov take, just to not break your heart too much. Linus Ullmark has been pretty solid lately, and I trust Ottawa a lot more than I trust San Jose. Jacob Markstrom, there is some questions with his health, so I'd wait and see with that. Joey Decord, I love him as a volume starter on Seattle. Seattle's 8th in the NHL right now. I don't know if you guys knew that. Darcy Kemper, I think, look, some of these are aiming high. Some of these feel like aiming low. The ones that are aiming high, you do Askarov plus. The ones that are aiming low, you do that goalie plus in return. But I'm happy taking all these guys over Askarov rest of the season, and I think you can make some really nice trades with it.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on this. He's actually, he was drafted to be a great goalie, and I really like how you prefaced it with saying that you still want him on your team all year. That's very important. But at the end of the day, you're listing guys who have a proven track record of being amazing, and what defensemen are to forwards as far as inconsistency for young promising players, goalies are 10 times that to defensemen. Like, this is going to be less than 3 weeks ago we were like, oof, is Ned going to get the majority of the stars? And now you have this. There's no way that this is going to be kept up, even though I'm the highest on San Jose out of all of us. I'm totally, totally with you here on everything you said, and I really do like the targets. Jacob Markstrom, scary. Let's just say it is scary.
Yeah.
We mentioned on our
you should definitely get
episode,
Markstrom plus if you do that.
Yeah. That's like the biggest plus that you can get, and in a way, actually, may be my favorite target because he's making decent money, and they're not going to keep him on the bench over Allen. That being said, I really just like all the names you listed, and it's a great sell high.
Listen, I'm the Askarov owner. I won't go too much because I feel you guys talked about it enough. But I think with what he's with what he's doing right now, I feel like you have to try to sell him at least. Josh gave some great targets. I would say aim high and then slowly make your way down the list and see what you can pull off. And that's my advice.
Yeah, shoot for the moon, and if you fall short, you'll fall in the stars, says someone who doesn't know anything about astronomy.
Yeah, that is a scientific fact.
Yes.
The stars are smaller, so wait, I don't know.
All right,
All right, Kevin, are you with us enough to do yours?
I'm with you guys enough that I will give my sell high candidate because I'm actually really excited about this one. I think it's a great sell high candidate.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, I feel like this is a surprising pick potentially, but my pick for my sell high this week is William Nylander of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now listen, has there ever been a less talked about forward who's been averaging 1.5 points per game on the season? I think Willie is going under the radar this season because Toronto's been bad, Matthew's been hurt, all the spotlight's kind of there, and like the glaring hole that Marner left on this team. But last year he averaged 1.02 points per game. He's scoring 0.5 points per game more over the last month than what he did last year, first of all. And already 1.5 is a huge threshold. Over the last month, he's at 1.27. He's still shooting a lot. He hovers around 3. Maybe the loss of Matthews has put a lot more on his shoulders, and he's been doing a lot more. And also just, how bad the team has been without Marner this year is a glaring issue, and the power play has not recovered either. The power play is a serious concern, though. We're seeing, first of all, his production on the power play has been not as good as last year. They don't have a power play one quarterback. Morgan Riley is just not that guy, and OEL they want to be that guy, and he's not that guy.
Kevin trades away Riley, and all of a sudden he agrees with me.
Listen, I was using what was on the ice as my information. Did I necessarily agree with it? No, but if the deployment is there, the deployment is there. But nonetheless, Marner was the quarterback for this team. Now he's quarterbacking the Vegas power play unit, which also has its own issues without Mark Stone, but nonetheless, still better than the Toronto Maple Leafs power play. I don't think the Toronto power play is going to hit the heights that it's hit in previous years. And nonetheless, I am worried about his 5v5 production. I think right now he's producing at an exceptional rate without the power play to back it up. It's just risky business keeping him on your team for long term. And this is a guy that you drafted like in the second round, high second round, late second round. He was a second round pick in most leagues. If you fell to the third, you were lucky. But Toronto has the least games played in the playoffs as well. He has a 3-3-3. Now listen, that's not glaring because he doesn't have a 2-game week. But I think right now with what he's producing, you're able to flip big name William Nylander, insane production William Nylander for another guy that's going to be a stud for your team that has a better playoff schedule and that you might potentially like better rest of season. I think the best thing that you can do is do a 2-for-2 trade where you're sending Willie for another star forward who has a better playoff schedule, who you might expect similar production rest of season. And also, that's like your technically downgrading. For all those on YouTube, you can't see me, but I'm doing quotation marks around technically downgrading. and get a better player. Yeah, thank you, Josh. Get a better player in
I did it
the
first.
trade as well. Oh, sorry, I didn't see. I was looking down. Thank you, Jakey and Josh. I am now the archers. But this isn't. You don't want to aim too low with the guys that you're trying to get in return for Nylander. I think you can still get Reinhardt. I think you can get Wyatt Johnston, Kyle Connor, Mitch Marner, Artemi Panarin. And I'm not saying trade these guys 1-for-1 for Nylander. I'm saying if you do a 2-for-2 trade, like Nylander plus X for Panarin plus X, where you're taking the technical downgrade from Nylander to Panarin. First of all, you're getting a way better playoff schedule. Would I be shocked if Panarin averages a point per game rest of the season? No. Would I be shocked if Nylander averages a point per game rest of the season? No. And then you get a major upgrade as a second piece. Maybe like you get a Jake Sanderson and you give your, Jacob Chikrin or something. Like, that's a type of deal where you're capitalizing on his value right now, getting a better playoff schedule, and also strengthening your team on the side as well. That's the type of trade that I would try to focus on making. A 2-for-2 or a 3-for-3 even. I think he carries a lot more weight than doing a 1-for-2 or something like that.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
The Archers has become the Archers.
Yeah.
No, I agree with everything you're saying. So you would prefer, obviously there's kind of like two types of trades with these types of guys, right? It's like you're saying there's a 2-for-2, and there's also trying to aim for like one of the top 5 guys in the league. You prefer to do the 2-for-2 than the type of like package Nylander plus for like a McDavid, McKinnon type of thing.
I mean, that's obviously, I think, harder to do because those guys don't want to get rid of them. But I'm thinking, fair, I think the way to maximize the value you're getting in a trade is doing a 2-for-2 where you're getting 2 upgrades technically, as opposed to consolidating into a better player. Like, obviously, consolidating is always good, and we recommend consolidating whenever you can. Maybe you could do a Nylander plus a small piece for a Kucherov. Like, I would love to do that, but like the McDavid, the Draisaitl, they also have a 3-3-3, so I'm also trying to capitalize on getting a better playoff schedule. But like, do I want Kucherov or do I want McDavid and Draisaitl on my team? I absolutely do. So you can go up or you can go down. I'm just thinking you're already pretty high with Nylander, that going down makes a lot of sense, especially if you're bolstering your roster with a second piece as well.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And I love the targets you put, and it's exactly like you said. I'm not gonna repeat it fully because it's just the same thing. But yeah, turning these guys into like a downgrade, and then getting an upgrade somewhere else, and then it turns out the downgrade was actually kind of net neutral at worst, and even could be an upgrade at best, and you get a double upgrade. It's a great way of thinking about it. So it's usually we go with the classic, package up for someone better, but this is also a very interesting kind of trade structure that benefits you a lot.
No, for sure, it's great. And I think the only thing that's a bit difficult here is that, as you mentioned basically in your first sentence, is that he's not really spoken about as which he should be more talk of the town than he is. He's been amazing.
Nobody talks about him.
Yeah.
I was shocked he was 1.5 points per game. Honestly, right? I haven't been keeping tabs on him.
There you go. It's he's like Protas of last year.
Except double it.
You know what?
Yeah,
go back to the shadows, okay? Balrog.
I'm still here.
You shall not pass.
Yeah. No, but it's he's actually a really good player in his own right, and I think that I'm not disagreeing here. I'm just saying that it's tough because it's like he's not spoken about. He's a very good player, and he's been producing a lot. I love the playoff schedule angle, though. That's really important because you kind of want to offload Toronto guys. And even Matthews, who's kind of like a buy low, he has pretty much half as many points per game as Willie this year, which is a crazy thing to tell you.
Literally half.
Yeah, literally. It's wild. And he's you still want good players on your team, as you mentioned, but you can get better player schedules. The Panarin one I love. The Reinhardt one I love. And Marner, Kyle Connor, Wyjo are interesting to me. But I still think that the way that you'd frame it based on how Kevin said can really help your team.
Yeah. Okay, Jake, you want to take us home with a fun final sell high for the week?
Yes. I'd say this is real fun and less controversial than my buy low. So I just traded for this guy, Lol.
With me.
Yeah,
Lol.
with Josh, because he watched Miracle on Ice and lied to me. That's why. I can't believe he watched the wrong Miracle. It's actually absolutely mind-blowing. But anyways, we're gonna swap Miracle on Ices after, so I'm excited to know your thoughts, and I'll tell you mine. And anyways, whatever. We even spoke about it after. I don't understand how this happened. Okay.
I mean, we talked about the main story. It's the same story. I'm sure it was done a lot better with Disney.
That's true. That's fair. But yeah, so you're gonna love it, and Kevin, you should watch it too, wherever you are.
Both of them.
But
It's on my list. I'm still here.
All right. So, of the Carolina Hurricanes, we have Shayne Gostisbehere, and it's obviously extremely disturbing to have to write this as a sell high for a guy that I just bought. But in my defense, I didn't make the trade because he ranks, get this, tied for second among all defensemen in points per game in the NHL. Okay? That's not why I made it. I'm a big believer in Ghost being a beast this year, but there's a fine line between beast and tied with Quinn Hughes in points per game. Okay? That's not going to stay like that. All right? It's interesting that you look at the Hurricanes this year, and they trail only the Avalanche in goals per game. Where does their power play rank, though? Last. Which is hilarious. And where I land on this is that he's 32 years old, and we have enough of a sample size in his career to know that he's not going to end the season at his current pace, which is 79 points in 73 games. He was injured for 2 games, which would mean he'd score 66 over the remaining 61 games that he has. I think he can score 45 over the next 61, 0.74 points per game rest of the season, which is very good, especially for a defenseman. And the power play points should realistically uptick. They're not going to be dead last. I doubt it, because they're scoring quite a bit and should be a little bit better, even though Rod is crazy all over the place, but whatever. As I just, traded for him, I gave Draisaitl and Owen Tippett for Kucherov and Gostisbehere.
Just for Gostisbehere.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know your thoughts, by the way, in the YouTube comments, Discord, or Spotify, Apple podcast comments, who you think won between me and Josh. Once again, I sent Dry and Tippett and got back Kucherov and Gostisbehere. I also needed the help of Decor, so there's a bit of the context there. But
and I
was punting faceoffs. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, so I have no problem with holding him, trading for him if you could get a reasonable deal done. But I think there are many fantasy hockey players out there who drafted defensemen for with a much higher pick, and they may be willing to send them for Ghost. So that would be one, if they don't listen to the podcast and know that Rod is an absolute loose cannon when it comes to fantasy hockey. And 2, they see better offensive defensemen on a team that is scoring in the highest league. So that's really what you see when you look at Gostisbehere. You're very likely going to need a package, a decent player to get some of these players, but I think it's doable. So where you could get in return, Jake Sanderson, which was Josh's buy low, Mikhail Sergachev, which again, you're getting Sergachev plus. You're not just Sergachev, because I think I'd actually rather Gostisbehere 1-for-1, maybe, or it's close.
Oh, I should have done that trade.
Yeah, I was going to say, dang, Jakey, okay.
It's close enough. It's close enough when I think that the points are going to be similar, but I guess Sergachev I'd slightly prefer. Anyways, Lane Hudson, Mackenzie Blackwood, but I'm kind of iffy on that one. So let's just say insert Colorado Avalanche starting goalie here, and considering it's still up in the air, maybe Wedgwood has the edge. You guys can shine some light on that. I'd rather Dorofeyev, who has also been underperforming.
So that means you'd rather Protas over Gostisbehere?
Maybe.
Send that. You'll get it.
It's wild.
We'll see. And Nico Hischier.
Okay. I mean, first of all, love this pick. Gostisbehere is a clear sell high. My opinion on Gostisbehere the past couple of years is anytime he starts being point per game, which happens a lot, but it's usually for shorter stretches, he's a sell high. Mainly because he has 0 backcats. He has very little peripheral coverage. Points-wise, he's always solid. He is a solid defenseman, but he's also not a point per game, right? So it's like Jakey said, I don't see dropping Ghost at any point in the season. I think he's going to be a season-long hold. He's going to be someone you're happy to have on your team, unless you're in the need of backcats, in which case you're like, why is this defenseman putting up 0 hits and 0 blocks and barely any shots? But points-wise, he's going to be solid. I will say with the Canes, This year they're 32nd. Last year their power play was 25th. So they're not going to be this bad, but like I don't see them suddenly becoming one of the best power plays in the league either. But I definitely love this as a sell high. I like all your targets. I mean, I think you'd have to send for the defenseman. You'd have to send Gostisbehere plus to get them. But I think the fact that yeah. I mean, I had no idea you felt this way. If we had done this episode a day earlier, I would have taken Sergachev from you for sure.
But we didn't. And you watched the wrong Miracle on Ice.
I know. It's actually a big L for me, but
the better playoff schedule too, right? But no, honestly, I take it back. I'd rather Sergachev.
Yeah.
And one quick thing, I never said I'd rather Protas over Dorofeyev. I'd rather Dorofeyev over Protas. I think he's going to get more points. So I'd rather Dorofeyev over Protas, and I think I'd rather Ghost over Protas as well.
Yeah. Fair enough. But anyways, so I love your targets. I think if you do Gostisbehere plus, you can get them in a lot of leagues. In our league, I tried selling Gostisbehere to literally every team in the league, and Jakey was the only one who bit. But like, to be honest, like our trade it's not really a Gostisbehere trade. It's pretty much a Kucherov for Draisaitl trade. So Gostisbehere was nowhere near the main piece of that that trade. But yeah, so it's really league dependent. If like some leagues, people are just wary of him, I guess, because of the fact that he doesn't really get many backhats, or like over the years he's had hot stretches and then cold stretches. But get what you can. In terms of your cross position ones, Dorofeyev's a great one. I honestly I think I could have pulled that off if Kevin didn't snake me on a Dorofeyev trade, and if I didn't take Gostisbehere to
what do you mean
instead.
Snake you?
I mean, you didn't snake me. You just got it instead of me, and I think my offer was better. But no, you were fine. And then Hischier, I think that's probably a bit of a stretch, but I mean, look, if you do Gostisbehere plus for Hischier's been terrible, so I think you could get it done, and I would love that. Blackwood's an interesting one because I'm starting to think that like Wedgwood may be the 1A and Blackwood the 1B. Yeah. So I don't know how many starts he's going to get. Fact is, if the situation gets cleared out, you're not going to be able to pull off this trade. So you can only pull it off if you truly believe in Blackwood. And like before he kind of runs away with it. I don't think you can get Wedgwood at this point. I think Wedgwood owners are kind of believe that Wedgwood's the 1A, so I don't think you can get it. So Blackwood is like, if you think Blackwood's going to be the starter, I think it's an unreal deal. I just think there's a lot of risk involved with that. But at the end of the day, also, like, I don't think Ghost is like the biggest loss, even though he is like a solid like points guy for a defenseman. If you want to if you need a swing at goalies and you want to make like a Hail Mary, and all you end up in the worst case scenario is you lost Ghost for like the 1B on Colorado, I still think that's not the worst. It's probably a bit of an L, but like it's not the worst.
Worst case, you pick up a Levchinov or a Hampus Lindholm or a Darren Radish and you stream them, and then you just kind of make shift that position afterwards. But the deployment is not super hard to replace technically. But he's producing at such a high rate right now that you have to take advantage of it and see what you can get. I definitely like all these options better than Ghost. I think some of them are a lot harder to attain than others. Like for me, like if you're getting Jake Sanderson, like it's gonna take a lot more. Like it's gonna be like Ghost plus a significant plus, or like
totally get that. Totally get that. But that significant plus is way less than what the significant plus is probably going to be in a month from now. Because at the time of this recording, he has 0.48 points per game better than Sanderson.
Yeah.
1.18 to 0.7, right? Like, I don't know how big the plus actually has to be. Question. Would you, if you're the owner of Ghost, would you send Ghost and Protas for Jake Sanderson?
In a second.
Yeah, that's never getting accepted.
Yeah, 100%. I think like I said, like I was trying to sell Ghost for the past like 2 weeks. So I started high and then like started working my way down, and then he kind of ended up being more of like a throw in our trade. But yeah, I think he's a great sell. No, I know he's been great. Trust me, I've loved having him. I picked him in the 19th round, and I've just been like, wow, I can't believe I got this guy so late. I will say another thing in terms of his ice time is Slavin's going to come back at some point, and that's going to eat into his even strength ice time a lot. So he has no risk at power play 1, obviously, but that is something to note. His already non-existent Batcats might become even more non-existent.
Yeah, no, it's scary. It's scary, but I still think he's going to be the number 1 offensive.
100%. So. Which is crazy coming from Mr. Nikishin is coming to steal his job after he got scratched last game. Should I take my victory lap now or?
No, that well, I mean, not really, because I ended up with Gostisbehere. That's been an interesting situation, because I actually like, if you look at his backcasting occasion, he's been really good, but like
other than getting scratched in the game before that, straight zeros, but before that he was good.
before that he was.
Before he was bad, he was good. But yeah, anyways, that wraps it up.
Thank you to everybody for listening to Week 8 bullshit. Bye, Lasal.
We need to say
If you
"Bye, Los Alive" so
enjoyed-
people actually know. They're gonna think we're saying a swear word.
Yeah. Okay. Buy low, sell high. No shortened anything.
Okay.
Done. And Kevin is still here.
I massive difficulties. My computer half of my computer died on me in the middle of this recording, so it was obviously
Yeah.
perfect timing.
But it
And,
kind of speaks to your dedication that you literally traveled through, wildernesses and walked 500 miles like that song from the 80s and
Yeah.
still delivered your
Would walk
sell high.
500 more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, the timing could not have been better. But I missed out on not debating on you on Protas for longer. So maybe we
Exactly.
saved the listeners some valuable
Yeah,
content.
that's
maybe.
what Jakey was saying. while you were
No, exactly. We framed it as the fantasy hockey gods stepping in to make sure that you didn't trash my Protas takes.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I can't wait to review this in 2 weeks. It's going to be so fun. But yes, thank you to everybody for listening. Follow us on our socials, which are in the link tree in the podcast description. Join the Discord community. And if you made it this far, please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. It really does help, and we would truly appreciate it. You'll be notified when all the episodes go live, and just good vibes around doing that.
Yeah, and Kevin's shaking his booty right now just thinking about it.
Exactly.
Yes, I am. You can't see it, but I am.
Exactly. And subscribe on YouTube. Take it away, Ernie.
Bow, banger management, fantasy hockey podcast. Woo! Woo! Woo!